You can doubt many things, but there is one thing you cannot seriously doubt. Right now there is something it is like to be you. You see colors, hear sounds, feel emotions, think thoughts. This inner, subjective what it is like is what we call consciousness. What is consciousness, and can it really be explained, or will it always remain a mystery? Let's explore philosophical, scientific and spiritual approaches to this question, and why it matters for how we understand ourselves, animals, and even artificial intelligence. First, what do we mean by consciousness? At its core, consciousness means subjective experience. There is something it is like to be in a given state. For example, seeing a bright red flower, feeling pain or joy, hearing music, having an inner monologue, or being aware that you are aware. We can distinguish a few related ideas. Phenomenal consciousness is the raw, qualitative feel of experience, the redness of red, the sting of pain, the warmth of sunlight. Access consciousness is information in your mind that is available for reasoning, decision-making, or speech. Self-consciousness is awareness of yourself as a subject. I am the one who is thinking, feeling, watching. Most agree consciousness is about there being an inner point of view. Some philosophers distinguish between the easy problems and the hard problem of consciousness. The easy problems are questions like, how does the brain integrate information? How do we focus attention? How do we control behavior and report what we see or feel? These are easy only in the sense that scientific models can, in principle, solve them. The hard problem is, why is there any subjective experience at all? Why is brain activity accompanied by a felt inner world instead of being like a dark, unconscious machine? A computer can process information, but we're not sure there is anything it feels like to be the computer. Your brain also processes information, but there is something it feels like to be you. The hard problem asks, how do we go from matter to mind? How do we go from objective processes to subjective experience? Many scientists and philosophers are physicalists. Consciousness is ultimately a feature or product of the physical brain. They might say, conscious states are brain states, viewed from the inside. When certain neural networks are active, a specific experience occurs. Some leading ideas include global workspace theories. The brain has many specialized processors, and consciousness arises when information enters a global workspace, becoming available for reasoning, speech, and planning. Integrated information theory suggests consciousness relates to how much integrated information a system has. The more unified and complex the processing, the richer the consciousness. Higher order theories say a mental state becomes conscious when you are aware that you are having it, not just seeing red, but knowing you are seeing red. Physicalist theories connect consciousness with testable brain processes, but even a detailed neural story may still leave us asking, why does that activity feel like something from the inside? This is the hard problem, all over again. Some philosophers and religious traditions argue consciousness cannot be fully reduced to brain processes. There is something non-physical about it. This often connects with the idea of a soul or non-material mind, or the claim that qualia are fundamentally different from physical properties. Arguments include conceivability. We can imagine a world physically identical to ours, but with no conscious experience, a zombie world. If that's possible, then consciousness is something extra beyond the physical facts. Another is the knowledge argument. Mary, a scientist, knows everything physical about color vision, but has never seen color herself. When she sees red for the first time, she learns something new, what red looks like. That suggests that purely physical knowledge doesn't capture all there is about conscious experience. In dualist views, the brain is needed for ordinary human consciousness, but consciousness has an irreducible mental or spiritual side. This can support beliefs in an afterlife, or a strong separation between machine intelligence and human consciousness. A surprising position gaining attention is panpsychism. Consciousness, or a very primitive form of it, is a basic feature of reality, present at all levels. On this view, fundamental entities have some inner aspect, and complex consciousness emerges from combinations of these basic units. This avoids saying consciousness magically appears at some high level of complexity, but raises questions. How do tiny micro-experiences combine into the unified experience of a single person? Other related views include neutral monism. Mind and matter are two aspects of a deeper, more fundamental reality, or idealism, where reality is, at root, mental or experiential. A deeper challenge is not just what theory we pick, but how we try to explain consciousness. Scientific explanation is usually third person. We describe systems from the outside in objective, measurable terms, but consciousness is first person. It is what it is like inside. Some philosophers think no purely third-person description will ever fully capture the first-person reality. Others are more optimistic, believing future science may provide models so powerful that the explanatory gap will close. How we think about consciousness affects how we treat animals and artificial intelligence. Most evidence suggests many animals have significant consciousness, which has ethical implications for farming, research, and our daily choices. Could a sufficiently advanced artificial intelligence be conscious? If consciousness is about information processing, maybe yes. If it requires a soul or a special biological substrate, maybe no. This affects how we might one day treat advanced artificial intelligence as tools, partners, or even new kinds of persons. Beyond theory, how we think about consciousness changes how we see ourselves. Am I just a complicated biological machine, or is there something mysteriously luminous about my existence? Does consciousness depend entirely on the brain, or could there be some form of awareness beyond death? Many traditions treat consciousness as a door to deeper understanding, liberation, or union with the divine. Even if we do not settle the metaphysics, consciousness is the space in which our whole life unfolds. It is where joy, suffering, love, fear, and meaning are all felt. So, can consciousness be explained? Some say yes, consciousness will eventually be explained in terms of brain processes and information theory. Others say science can map the correlations and mechanisms, but there will always remain an irreducible mental or spiritual dimension. Mystical views suggest consciousness may be more like a fundamental reality than a thing to reduce. Perhaps the most honest stance is, we can say a lot about how consciousness behaves, where it appears, what it correlates with, and how it changes. But the deepest question, why and how there is an inner light at all, remains one of the most profound mysteries we face. Living with that mystery can itself become a form of humility, wonder, and curiosity about our own existence. Credits written and narrated for a Philosophy Bites channel.